You've found a suitcase full of $750 in cash and $100 dollar bills in the brush next to a highway. You can tell that it's been there for at least a year. How would you integrate this money into your life without raising red flags? I wouldn't make an extremely suspicious Reddit post about it, says the one with the suspicious name. This actually happened in Lee County, Florida back in the late 1990s. The money was in a large suitcase on a road that led to a retirement community. It was apparently a drug drop. The person in this case saw the suitcase in the bushes and stopped and checked it out. He then called the local sheriff department, who confiscated it. It turned out later that the D had someone staking out the location because it was a known drug drop spot. The feds asked the sheriff for the money and the sheriff refused, and there was court cases and a big mess. See, this is for all the people that said, oh, I'd turn it in, report it as found money, pay taxes on it and not worry because I didn't do anything illegal. EFFF that. We all know damn well that if you tried to do that, some form of government, FBI, IRS, D, local police, someone would try to say they have claim over it and you'd never see a effing dime. I do wonder if the outcome would have been different if the guy who found the money went to a good lawyer first and then contacted the authorities, thereby perhaps getting official formal promises to return the funds fully after an above-board investigation. I'd go get my old job back with my particularly shady boss. He was perfectly fine to report whatever income you wanted or not to file a 1099 at all. He also was in the habit of buying extravagant gifts for his staff. It wouldn't be hard to clean the money through him. Wouldn't be hard for you to end up in a coffee can in his basement, either. He's actually surprisingly successful despite the state of his finances. It's not enough money for him to want to steal, and he really wouldn't hurt a fly. I have evidence of this, not just a gut feeling. I wouldn't be worried about him cheating me or harming me. Sounds like the beginning of a horror movie. I don't have to worry about Tony, and then Tony makes a stir fry out of your diced panini. Step 1 is figure out if the bills are clean or marked. How would you determine this? Anonymously give a few to someone you know well but don't like. See if the FBI raids said person's home. Thanks for the birthday $100 bill, Uncle Mike. Steve Holt. Marked bills are often nothing more than bills for which the serial numbers are recorded and monitored for at the bank level. If they're tracking this cash, then it's only a matter of time until they detect enough bills to work their way back to the source. There is no way to be sure that bills aren't marked. Computer vision today guarantees fast recording of every single serial number should it be desired. For example, money for a ransom, withdrawals by someone under investigation support earner, bills held by a bank in case of theft, etc., as well as the ability to spot these bills flowing through the economy by simply recording who deposits the bills and when. Starting your own money laundering business won't help either. They'll just see that your business deposits 99% of the marked bills. Such a setup only works when the cash isn't from a narrow source, for example street level drug sales. The reality today is that if they want to track specific bills, they will, with extremely high accuracy and thoroughness. If they're marked, you won't know it until the indictment. You won't be able to use marked bills without getting caught, and most organized crime wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole if they suspect it might be marked. It's just a game of Russian roulette for relatively little money. You ever get way too into scenarios in your head, just sitting there reading posts and thinking how you are going to launder all this money and then realize it wasn't real, and you are still poor, working in a cubicle on a rainy Tuesday? F my life. An unmarked bag of cash today might as well be biohazardous and radioactive for all the good it will do you. Even cash from decades ago might have been manually recorded and tracked by computers to this day. Buy a very rundown house and fix it up paying cash. Now you live in a nice home. Tax auditors won't know what you put into it. Do the same with a used car or boat. You can also sell after a while, and the house and whatever else you fix up just appreciated in value even if you don't get any more than you put into it. You walk away with clean money. Possibly best one I've seen yet. I am self-employed. It's possible I've considered this before this post. That's code for I'm a drug dealer. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Are you taking new clients? I currently work at a pizza joint. I'll just say I'm getting tipped very, very generously. Man, this one Saudi looking guy was so generous. Shame I didn't catch his name. I think he said his name was something like Akim Joffa, and his buddy was Semi? Not really on topic, but it reminds me of when I worked for a security company. There had been an armed robbery on an armored truck. The police thought it was an inside job but couldn't prove it. 6 weeks later, just before he was due to go on holiday, the armored truck driver turned up for work in a huge brand new car, towing a giant boat. People are stupid. Then there's this one. The dude worked armored car and shot his colleagues while on the job. I guess he didn't really think through that he'd basically be the only suspect. They picked him up not long after trying to flee the country. My buddy is an armored guard. It's a pretty common pact now for the guys to promise to not stop the other one if they want to rob the truck, if they promise to not murder their partner in order to do the heist. I wonder what that exchange is like. Hey Bill, in case you've been thinking about robbing the truck, I'll just turn a blind eye so you don't have to murder me. Oh okay, that's good. I was planning on this week. How would you integrate this money into your life without raising red flags? Use HSBC Bank. You will raise red flags, but no one will care. Go to any casino in Vancouver. Tell them you are a realtor and a developer. They will launder all the cash you need for a very reasonable fee. If I recall correctly, there was a very prolific bank robber in the Seattle area back in the 1980s. Was stealing very large amounts of money. He was going to Vegas on a regular basis and he would go into one casino and bet on Team X to win in an upcoming football or basketball or baseball game, and then go into another casino and bet the same amount on the same Team X to lose the same game. Whichever way the game went, one of his bets would win and he would collect and leave Vegas with the same amount he got there with, except it was now clean money. Worked quite well until the shootout with the FBI. Interesting. He'd take a loss, even on 5,050 games, but worth it for clean cash. HSBC notoriously laundered money for the most violent cartels in the world. When caught, they face next to zero consequences. A great read is The Divide by Matt Taibbi. It covers this and other stories. Except if you are small business or normal customer, the slightest error on your part they will just your account down real fast. Makes sense. Regulate the accounts that you make little money from so you have a paper trail showing you take these things seriously, even though you don't and are just doing it to cover your booty. Ever watch No Country for Old Men? Leave that shit alone. Or just check the case for a transmitter. Why not just take the cash out and leave the case? I'd eat out a lot more and pay in cash. Edit. Negative karma, or karma of just one. That has never bothered me. But this post's karma? This is the most generic thing I've ever mumbled while half asleep and then promptly forgotten I'd ever said. I'm just bewildered. I was thinking similarly. Wouldn't make any major changes to my lifestyle, but I would just use cash to pay for all my minor purchases. Eating, shopping, groceries, etc. And then just deposit some each year around Christmas, Easter, your birthday, and Thanksgiving. Plausible that you're gifted cash at those times. If for whatever reason the bills are marked, or even possibly counterfeit, you might want to keep it out of the banks completely. If you have several accounts open with debts, you can gradually begin to pay them off in cash each month, assuming the accounts aren't owned by the same banking conglomerate. Never make wildly large payoffs as this can trigger an alert internally or externally. Use the cash for everyday expenses, but at the same time continue to use your bank account for large frequent purchases. That is direct debits. Otherwise a quick glance at your account will show you've been accruing your regular wage etc but you're not spending anymore. Buy and sell things on eBay to get the money into your PayPal account. It'll stay there definitively. Depending on how often you use PayPal, I wouldn't suggest going too crazy, but a balance of under 5k over a period of 6 months shouldn't raise any alarms. You can use this for flights abroad etc. The one thing that trips almost everyone up when trying to launder money etc. I'm not sure if this would count as that. Is that trying to funnel through too much too quickly, and don't necessarily pay attention to the discrepancy between what they used to earn spend, and what is going through the account now. If you're regularly spending 20k a month and you suddenly spend 25k, it's not going to raise alarms. If you earn 1k and then spend 25k, they'll be all over you. Source: used to work in this area. Edit: Yale a bunch of criminals lol. I am giving purely hypothetical advice based on a hypothetical situation. You used to work in the money laundering area for a global company, so from the legal side. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm only 16, so I hope you didn't cringe from the editing. I hope we can get to 50,000 subscribers because I wouldn't be here without all of you. So thank you so much for your time and energy, and please subscribe.